So Mike, first of all, just introduce yourself, first name, last name, and correct spelling.
Mike Mahoney, Michael Mahoney.
Do you want, on the lower third, the screen, do you want Mike or Michael to be shown?
Doesn't matter. Michael's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just sort of go over details about your case and about what happened with your accident. Just kind of start from the beginning and walk us through it.
And like any other day, started out heading home from work, went to go to the gas station, and a guy decided to do an illegal U-turn. I came across traffic in front of me. I laid the bike down and went up underneath his pickup truck. He drugged me roughly 28 feet. I was pinned underneath his pickup truck for better than 30 minutes. They had to get a tow truck to get my body out. They lifted me. They weren't sure if I was even still viable. And they got me out of there, got me to the hospital, and when I came to out of a coma, 7 days later, I'd had all but 2 ribs broken or cracked. Both lungs had multiple holes. I had pancreas and liver were damaged, and my leg was crushed. I woke up out of the coma, and the doctors were pretty confident in saving my leg. We spent, I believe, 5 months trying to save the leg, and finally it just came to the point where I wasn't taking anymore. I was on too much pain medication. I was and was still in pain, so I opted for the amputation. So they amputated, and here I am. 3 months after the amputation, I was able to get up and start walking again, but I still had complications with my pancreas and liver. For better than 5 months, I couldn't eat solid foods. So at 6'3", I was down to 156 pounds. So it was pretty miserable.
And so, at what point did you, jumping forward, did you realize you were going to have to get some help from a law firm?
Actually, that came when after I had come out of the coma and I was released at home. A lot of it is still murky because I was on morphine and Oxycontin and all kinds of painkillers. So my family had helped contact attorneys, and I believe we had contacted 3 or 4 different firms, and in reality, only one of them showed up at my house, and that was Mark Larson. I believe he pulled up in a minivan at that time.
Why did you feel it was necessary to get attorneys involved?
Just the fear of contacting the insurance company. I didn't feel comfortable moving ahead because, number one, I was in no position to negotiate or talk to them or even deal with them. So I just felt it was in my best interest to protect my interest, and so I moved forward with that.
So other than the minivan, which is always a big seller, why did you choose Larson and Larimer versus other law firms out there?
Actually, I had met with one other, and honestly, just Mark Larson's his candor. He came forward, he sat with us, he talked with me, and was very personable. And that drew me to him and to the firm. And I was pretty confident that they had my best interests. If not, I definitely would have moved.
Did you consider hiring another lawyer? We see a lot of lawyers on television or on billboards. What set Larson and Larimer apart?
There was one that pulled up to the house after Mark had come by. And honestly, I don't know. It was a personal feeling. When he came to the door, I couldn't get up and greet him. He came in, and I don't know. I just had this, for lack of a better term, this smarmy feel about him. And whereas when Mark had showed up to the house, I felt comfortable with him. So he pretty much put me at ease.
So how was your experience working with Larson and Larimer in pertaining to your case specifically?
The thing I really liked about the company, or about their organization, is I knew that if I contacted him, if I called him, I'm a pretty aggressive person, and if I made the phone call to him, I knew he'd answer right away. And even if he couldn't, if he was in court or something else, as soon as he walked out the door, he'd call me. So he kept very good contact with me, kept me informed of what was going on and where things were. And if I had questions, he had no problems calling me immediately and answering those questions. And if he didn't have it, he'd get the answer.
So talk about your case and what happened. And so you hired Larson & Larimer. Take us from there. What happened with your case, and how did they help you?
Well, they did very well going, acting as my intermediary with the insurance companies, especially when it came to the insurance companies leaving what I felt like I was left hanging. It got to the point where I ended up losing my house, my car was repoed, everything was taken away. And all I kept hearing from the insurance companies, well, we got to go to committee. We're not even sure if these injuries were, these injuries may not have been from this accident, so we've got to research this. And he did very well battling for me with regard to those issues. So, yeah, I felt that no matter what was going on, even though we were losing a house, we were losing everything, and this was right when the market had dropped too, so everything was just ridiculous and nothing was going my way. I had used up my savings in a very short amount of time, and he did a very good job. Larson & Larimer did a very good job of recouping for me what I had lost.
And so there was a delay with your insurance payment. Is that why you contacted Larson & Larimer, or was it even before that?
It was before that.
Okay,
yeah.
So what did Larson & Larimer do for you to make sure the insurance company paid what was owed to you?
After we had, I'm trying to think, after he had contacted the insurance companies and had been moving forward with the initial underinsured, uninsured payments, the insurance company, and we were even at one point, Mark was trying to get the insurance company to pay out even a stipend, a small amount of the money, so that I could keep my house. And losing my car, I had no vehicle to get to and from the hospital. I actually had one of my clients from my company that I used to work for loaned me his car after they took my car away. And Mark did a great job of going after them and making sure that, well, as I said, he was trying to get them to pay up a little bit up front. It would go into a trust account, and then he would help me out keeping my house and keeping in there. But it didn't work. We ended up having to pack everything up, and I couldn't do anything. I was busted up, so my family had to come over and do that. And we moved everything into storage, and we ended up in my, at that time, parents-in-law's basement, which was pretty humbling for someone like me who was a little bit prideful. I take pride in taking care of my own. But Mark Larson's organization, they did a great job coming in and making sure the insurance company footed the bill for putting us out and making us lose everything. Instead of them having our best interest at heart, and making sure that they were taking care of us, Mark had to step in and make sure that they took care of us. And we ended up into a lawsuit with the insurance company, and they felt as though they hadn't done anything wrong because they had to go to committee, quote unquote. But from my standpoint, they had done a lot wrong. They left us hanging. They left me in a position where I had no idea what my future. I was losing my limb. I was recovering from so many injuries, and I had no income, no insurance, and now I was losing my house and my vehicle. Where do you go from there? And you got kids and family, and yeah. But they did a great job stepping up and pushing forward and making sure that the insurance company was held accountable for what they lacked doing. So.
Can you talk about your settlement?
The final number was, I believe, 1.3. I believe 1.3 million, I think, was the final settlement.
What does that money mean for you now?
Now I have.
Maybe, can you say that sort of in one sentence?
Sure.
You know, we got a settlement of 1.3 million. That money means this now. A judgment.
A judgment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, say it the correct way.
Okay.
So,
We received. I received a judgment of 1.3.
can you just say million?
Yeah. 1.3
That was
thousand.
perfect. So we
No,
received-
so 1.3. We received a judgment of 1.3 million dollars, and it definitely has made the difference for me. I built a new house, and I've made the money work for me. And I'm starting another business. I was, it's done phenomenal. It's helped us out. It kept us from being miserable, and allowed me to walk around on a prosthetic that I could not otherwise afford. So.
It's amazing. So what would you say to anyone who might be in your position as far as not getting response from their insurance company in an accident? What would you say about recommending Larson & Larimer?
Well, if it's any help moving forward, my wife was in a head-on collision last year. Mark Larson is now representing her, and it was the other driver's fault, turned into her lane head-on. So she is using him. I have full faith and confidence in him, and that's what I'd tell anyone who is in this situation. I have full faith and confidence in his abilities to do what is needed to be done to protect you and to help you get back to where you were, at least some semblance of where you were. I'm never going to be physically the same, but I'm back up and I'm continuing on. So.
That's great. Can I ask you that again? And just in case we use it for a different segment, can you say Larson & Larimer? Or you could say Mark Larson
okay.
as well, just so we have that name in there so we're clear.
With the
on what we're
amount
talking about?
and everything?
No, just why would you recommend Larson & Larimer to somebody?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I would definitely recommend Larson & Larimer. Well, now I'm... Yeah. I got to go back. Let me rewind the tape.
Have you worked with any other attorneys? And what would set them apart as far as?
The only other attorneys I've worked with are municipal lawyers.
Okay. So as far as injury lawyers, why would you recommend Larson & Larimer to anyone?
I would definitely recommend Larson & Larimer for the simple fact that I have full faith and confidence in their ability to protect you. And they've protected me. They took care of my interests. They took care of what I needed to be taken care of. They made sure that I could come back and get a house that I had lost and start my life over and work back to where I was. That's been the biggest hurdle, is getting back to where I was. And if not for them, I probably would not be here today. So.
And I'll just ask one other sort of general question. We see a lot of lawyers on television, on billboards. What sets Larson & Larimer apart? They're always talking about their personal touch. Would you say that that's accurate and fair?
With regard to Larson & Larimer, yes, definitely a personal touch in all things. I've never had any question about their, and I'm reticent to use the word, but it's all I can come up with, is their loyalty to me in where I was trying to go and to help me get back to where my life was before, which is where the insurance company was supposed to do, or what they were supposed to do, but it took Larson & Larimer to step in and make that happen for me. So
you really have your life back?
I do. I won't be running a 4-minute, 50-second mile anymore, but I can get up and walk around. So
that's great. Is there anything else you want me to ask, or you want to ask?
Can you cut out the minivan? It was really a pickup truck.
Was
that is going in.
Was it a pickup truck?
I think we're good.
Dude, I was drugged up so bad.
I'm not sure you could even look